Yeah, so my name is Derek. I'm from New York, and I've been in crypto actually since June of last year. I come from a Web2 background. I joined during crypto winter when there was a lot of the noise got filtered out. So it was a great time to learn and build, and here I am today, over a year later, still building.
Cool. I'm Dan. I joined Web3 actually relatively recently, maybe about 2 months ago, would you say?
Damn,
Yeah,
fresh.
relatively recent joiner to Web3, so coming with a lot of nascent opinions and observations, but joined Kurtosis to figure out how to build next generation tooling for the future of builders on Web3. One observation that we've made and our founders have especially made is that there's a lot of complexity involved in building crypto. I think that's a very lukewarm take. All developers or even anyone from the retail investor would agree that there's a lot of complexity with Web3, all the way from UX to backend to everything in between. We are operating on the back end when it comes to building your protocols, building your blockchains across L1, L2. There are a lot of individual components that need to be spun up, that need to be connected together in a sequentially logical way. And all of this for the purposes of building and testing and then eventually deploying. The space that we operate in is let us make that process much more reproducible, much faster, much more stable by writing the instructions down once so that you can just run those instructions over and over, as opposed to what we've observed is a lot of more manual and like higher bandwidth ways of doing this process.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And I'll add the examples are just like protocols itself, like spinning up nodes or infrastructure like oracles. These are things that are not easy to run and not easy to bring up, as Dan mentioned. And so we hope to help developers do it faster, quicker, and in simpler terms. I think from our background and who we've worked with so far, the Ethereum ecosystem has remained the kind of de facto leader and the biggest player in the space. And I believe infrastructure inside and also surrounding will continue to grow. Things like L2s, decentralized sequencers, and also just advancements in the core Ethereum protocol when compared to other L1s is just kind of leaps and bounds ahead of others. And so my prediction and where we fit in is likely going to be square in the Ethereum ecosystem. And yeah, I believe it'll just keep growing. We're already working with the Ethereum Foundation DevOps team to test protocol upgrades. So dank sharding is coming up Q1 of next year. We're smack in the middle of that, helping them test things, blob, spammers, and all that jazz. Ideally, also working with security firms as well to just ensure that Ethereum is more resilient. And that's obviously MEV infrastructure, our work with Flashbots as well, is very exciting. Lots of stuff coming down the pipeline, and we don't expect it to slow down anytime soon.
When it comes to the end user experience for Ethereum, but also Web3 broadly speaking, in my personal opinion, I think it comes down to a matter of trust. Can people trust that when they have a desired workflow, whether it's in DeFi or DSocial or whatever, they're going to do something, they're going to often exchange value and like put skin in the game and expect that it's going to happen as expected. It's going to be something they can trust entirely and completely. Building that type of security and stability right now is an extremely high barrier to entry. Our vision with what our product can do for this space is let's lower that barrier to entry. Let's handle all of the back end by letting the experts kind of build that and kind of bake in that expertise. And then folks can kind of focus on the front end. They can focus on the experience. They can focus on the value that it's delivering to end users.
It's a great question. I actually think the DeFi space and just bringing traditional finance assets on chain, if that's a vertical, I think that's kind of the next wave. Speculative investors was the first wave. Hopefully the next bull market will include traditional finance. From my end, I think the EIP 4844, which is the Dencun upgrade to make L2s like way cheaper. We're going to be on the front lines with the EF, the Ethereum Foundation, on that one. So really excited for that. I think it's Q1 of next year. We'll see. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Next 6 months for Kurtosis. Honestly, it's such a fast-moving space. It's hard to say. I think we're very much looking forward to learning more as dank sharding comes up and whatever other innovations come into the Ethereum space. What are the biggest pains that we can solve for? What are the biggest ways we can just deliver value to developers and then ultimately end users and grow the next billion of Ethereum users?